Learning Nishmas Etta Ahuva Basakim Maseches Kelim Perik Beis Mishnah Hey. So we're continuing with the halachas of a kli cheres. Kisui kade yayin v'kade shemen v'kisui chaviyos niyaris. Covers that are made out of cheres, of pitchers of wine or oil, or covers of barrels of niyaris. Is two pshatim in the Rash. Either it's a place, or niyaris means paper, which is like a cloth that they use to cover the tzluchis. Like the Gemara a lot of times says, it's a type of cloth that they wrote on it, but they also used it as a cover. But all these things, I'm not sure if that's klicheres according to that pshat, but all these things, because they're mishamish as a kisui, they're tahar. We spoke this out in Mishnah Gimel by two of the cases, by Kavkav she'osoi sal hapas and tafi she'eskinu la'anavim. And we spoke out over there a tesefta that says kol mishamish kofoi klicheres tar, that if its purpose is a cover, then it's tar. Over here the Rash adds a mistavre taima mishum de teichei ksiv, because the tumah by klicheres is totally on its teich. And this teich is not chashiv because it's not used for its teich, it's really used for a kisui. The Mishnah says, however, by these things, if you were misakin it to use the teich, then it would be mekabel tuma. The Mishnah continues, kisui halefes, which the Rash says is a lashon lefes, is like ilfas, like a frying pan, that they use to cook in it meat and vegetables. And we're talking about the cover of this frying pan. Bizman shehu nokev, if it has a hole, v'yesh lo chidud, the Rash says, or it's very pointy, so it can't sit on itself, it would fall over. So then, tahar, because then you can't use it as to be makabel anything. However, if both einay nokev ve'ein lo chidud, if there's no hole in it and there's no point, so you could make mikabel things in it, tameh, then it is tameh. Because you use it to strain the vegetables inside of it. Meaning, after you cooked vegetables and in the vegetables is still soaked with liquid, like think about after you make a chicken soup, and in the vegetables a lot of liquid in it, so you would keep it in this strainer and in this cover of the pot, and the liquid would gather in it. So since it was used to catch that liquid to strain the yarek, so therefore it has a teres kabolas kli, even though it was be'ikr meant for a cover. He just says a different tashmish that they used this pot for. And not 1,000% clear what it was used for, but in the Rash also it looks like it had something to do with the Yerakis. After they were cooked, you put it inside of it. According to the second shot, they added some tzir shemen rukni, some special oil to it. Ba'al kopanim, either pshat, they're not arguing, they're just saying what the shtamshis was for. The pashas, they're not arguing. Mishnah Vav, Gistera Shenimses Bekivshan, if you have a klicheres that broke apart while it was in the furnace, and the furnace is part of the making process of the kli. Actually, nigmar malachta tahira. If it broke apart before the gemar malacha, so it was never a kli, then it's tar. Misha nigmar malachta tmeya. But once it was already nigmar malachta, and then it broke apart, then it will still be mekabel tuma, because the gistera still has a use. The Rash says, "V'yesh levar adavar." How do you know when it broke apart, before or after? And he's saying the Tosefta that says that if it's shivrei and shavan, they're the same size, v'toicha madim, and it's reddish inside, so then it's different gears over here. But then you know the Goin's gears is biyadua she'ad shaloi nigmar malacha nishbara. But if they're different sizes, ve'in toicha madim, then you know that it was nigmar malacha already, and then it would be mekabel tumah. The Mishnah ends off with a different case, which is a machlekes, titros, which the Aruch says, the Rash brings from the Aruch, says that there's a hole on the top, and on the bottom there are a lot of small holes. kind of like a flower, like to water the flowers with it. On the bottom, a lot of holes, so it came out a little water at a time, not to like load it onto the flowers, but a little bit dripping coming out of it. So Rabbi Tzaddik says, the Tanakama says, Rabbi Tzaddik says matar. He says that it's tar because there are holes inside of it. So therefore, it's not a kli that's used to be mekabel. However, Rabbi Yosi says that it's metame imneishu kemoitze prutais, because what they did is they would hold the finger on the top, and when the finger was on the top, there was no ear, and then the water wouldn't come out through the bottom. And that's Keinu derech tashmisha, the Rash says, v'choshev beis kibel, hoil v'amayim oimdem al yidei hanochas ha'etzba. The Meister, the Rash ends off that the Lashon HaMishnah is not mashma like that, because the Lashon HaMishnah is mneishu hu moitze prutais, which is mashma that since it comes out very little, so therefore that's the reason that it's metame. We should mention that in Mishnah Gimel, actually Mishnah Daled, we had a very similar case. It was the mishpach shel roichen that they used to measure. They would also keep their finger there in order to retain the liquid in there. And over there we said it was tameh according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira neishu mida, because he used it as a measuring during that time. So Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira held that through the fact that it retains liquid while your finger is there, it's metame. However, the Rash is pointing out that that's not mashma, that's the reason of Rabbi Yosi over here, because Rabbi Yosi is saying a different reason, because even when the water is coming out, it's not coming out a lot at a time.